Oh, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of my Founders Roulette, um, the podcast where I invite very cool people. They spin my roulette, and whatever topic comes up, and we talk about it for 20 minutes, completely unscripted. It's something usually very scary for my guests. And today I have a very special guest, someone who has been in corporate, has been a founder multiple times, he's an entrepreneur today. Welcome, Matteo. Tell us more in just, um, let's say, a minute. Tell us what you do, who you are, so that we can kick it off.
Ciao Riccardo, I'm super excited about this spinning the roulette. I always say that I'm lucky, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get the best topic in on your roulette. My name is Matteo Penzo. As you said, I founded multiple ventures in my past, exited most of them, and most of these exits were very positive. I have a past in consultancy. Well, I keep saying I'm a recovering consultant. I've been doing consultancy most of my life in parallel of my entrepreneurial activities. I've been leading
Mm-hmm.
the technology teams for Frog Design, one of the major product design and strategy firm globally, and I was leading the teams in Europe and Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, I decided to go all in on my entrepreneurial life. And in 21, we created with Pietro and Andrea Zicklearn. Zicklearn is an online platform, AI-driven, to create, transform, and deliver text-based micro-trainings to basically any chat client on the market. And we are on the mission of changing the way employees learn for good.
Yeah. So, well, that's extremely interesting. Maybe I'm not sure about how if our audience knows what is micro learning, but to sum it up in very simple words, let's say you have a very big book, and it's a lot easier for you to learn it if that is reproduced in smaller, more digestible pills that you can maybe read once a day, and then you can basically get the knowledge of the book but distribute it in a way that it's easier for you to learn, right?
Yeah, much
More or
less
less.
effort, much more
Much
fun.
less okay, fantastic. So now the fun is over because you have to spin the roulette. Let me share the roulette with you. Okay, nice. Now you see it. You just let me know when you want to spin it and when to stop it, and I'll just go ahead.
Let's spin the wheel.
Oh,
And stop it.
uh, regrettable compromises.
Oh.
This is so cool. This is so cool. Um, and I'm not sure it's actually the easiest for you. Um, I usually start by explaining why I wrote it down in first place, and then I'll hand it over to you. Let me stop visualizing the roulette for the moment. So I give you an example. For me, what regrettable compromises means. Let's say you have your own company. You are in a hurry of hiring a key person for a specific role. You really need to, because you have to accelerate growth. You have to do some sort of activities that are required for you to grow. And then you interview someone and you realize that he's probably the best candidate that you found in this batch, and you need to hire someone from the batch that you've got. But there is something off. There is something you just in your feelings you know that there is a misalignment, maybe something personal, maybe you don't think that he would fit in your team or something like that. And in the end, what do you do? Do you hire that person because you have to hire someone and it's the best of that batch? No? And how do you feel after that? So that's my starting point. But I know you are a very sensitive person, so you may have felt this sensation, this emotion multiple times in the past.
Yeah, my take on this topic is that it's a double truth. I mean, compromises are always regrettable. There's no way in life you can compromise on something and be happy about the compromise. So, and I've been, obviously, the example you just made, I have tons of those. One's very recent. We were launching a new market. I had to hire people speaking natively the language of that market. I
Which
hired
is
somebody which was German.
German.
I'm speaking about a year ago or so. Um, and I felt from the very beginning that there was something in the relationship that was off.
Okay.
But I was in a hurry to hire because, I mean, I had to deliver my numbers and I need, this was a salesperson, so I needed people to sell to that market because we wanted to start testing and we want to start exploring that market. So I hired that person, probably one of the worst errors of my life. So 1 week after, that person was let go. But the ripple effect of letting this person go had a duration of probably 6 months. So I had to manage this thing for 6 months. And obviously, it's not a problem per se. The problem is that this decision kept me off focus for a very, very long period of time. And you know very well that as a founder, you have to be 1,000% focused on what you're doing morning and nights. If you have something that distracts you, and compromises do distract you, it starts to becoming a big problem.
So maybe I'm not sure if I completely agree that compromises are always a mistake. That's what I thought. I was, I've been a founder CEO for more than 10 years, and I always thought the world was in black and white. So either you are 100% uncompromising and you do that thing, or we would be black and you don't do anything. And then I started a path with my coach, and she taught me that it depends on you. You can be happy in gray. There are lots of shades of gray in between black and white, and it's mostly your mindset that pushes you to think that the only good is just full white or full black. But if you change the way you look at it, maybe sometimes a compromise is a cool thing. For example, if you are very, very tired, you don't feel like you want to work at all, or if you're very energized, you feel you want to work 24/7. But maybe if you are very tired, you can decide to work 3 days a week, and that's a compromise. But it's still for you now. That's not the case.
Let me put it like that. That's not the way I'm wired. I'm wired in black and whites, and I'm very happy with my blacks, and I'm very happy with my whites.
Okay.
I always put this, speaking about energy, as a human being. Well, every life form in physics tend to put themselves at a lower level of energy. That's how we tend to live, right? That's why we sleep on a bed, laying flat instead of sleeping standing, right? Because laying flat, it's a lower level of energy.
Okay.
And that's why we tend to spend time with people we like, because interacting with people we like requires a lower level of energy than interacting with people we dislike. Right. And in my life, this is true for everything. It's true also for investors. I had, at the very beginning of the Zicklearn story, I was having a conversation with Fausta, one of the angels who invested in us, Fausta Pavesio.
Yeah.
Amazing person. And she was telling me I was asking, the reason of the call was, okay, what should I do with our evaluation? Shall I raise it? Shall I not raise it? Shall I compromise? Again, compromise, coming back in my story. Shall I compromise on the evaluation, or shall I stay stick on what I believe our valuation is? And as an early stage company, I mean, Yeah, there are
It's
ways to calculate the valuation, but it's too early. I mean, everything
yeah.
can be correct. An
Hmm.
evaluation of 1 million or 10 million can be both correct for the same company at the same time,
Hmm.
depending on what you're looking at.
Hmm.
Are you looking at the product, which probably does not exist? Are you looking at the team? Are you looking at the market? What are you looking at? And she told me that one of the best investments she ever made was onto a founder who never compromised on evaluation. Well,
Okay.
actually, the absence of compromising was the filter he was applying to decide whether or not to let an investor in.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a great story, and I mean, obviously, Fausta, she's a great investor. Um, it's definitely a good advice. So if I have to ask to Matteo today, okay, what is then your advice to regrettable when dealing to with regrettable compromises? Can you promise yourself you will never accept regrettable compromises anymore? So when you have that initial gut feeling, you're gonna be able to follow it no matter what. Because there's another topic on the roulette that if we spin it again, I hope we don't pick that one. Otherwise, we have to spin it twice. But another topic is that when you it's very much connected to this, and it's when you have the sensation that something is not right, most probably is not right. And I think it's connected to this. But in my um, what I noticed, at least for myself, is that when my company started to grow and I had multiple investors and a bigger team, and also senior team, senior leadership team, um, it was more and more difficult to say, okay, I have this feeling, and so let's not do it. Because you also have to trust other people, and sometimes you have to do things that you feel they are not the right ones. But otherwise, why do you hire people if you don't let them decide? No. So um, I think the more your team grows, the more difficult it is not to accept sometimes regrettable compromises. Do you think there is a recipe that you can cook in order not to do that again?
Yeah, when you started your point, I was thinking that yes, you can make a promise to yourself not to accept compromises in the future, but again, it's very difficult because
Mm.
compromises are tightly bound with the context you're living in. As you were saying at
Uh-huh.
the beginning, I need to hire somebody and I'm in a hurry, so I'm not sure I should be hiring this person, but at the end, I find myself hiring her. Um, so one part of my answer is obviously you need to be good to your past self. Your past self does errors that your future
Hmm.
self will recognize.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily something you're doing without goodwill. I mean, nobody, I believe, makes errors with the aim of making errors. You make errors probably because you're lacking information or
Yeah.
there's other forces driving you to the error. So you need to be able to forgive yourself in the past and learn from that error. I always see a compromise as an error. It's just a time bomb, right? It's not an error you're doing right now. You're procrastinating the effect of
Theo,
the
but
wrong
answer my
decision.
question. Will you be able to? You will continue to accept regrettable compromises. You're not
Um,
promising yourself to skip them.
well, obviously, I need to be able to accept them in the future. What I'm trying to do is constantly avoid them. So whenever I find myself in the position of I
Mhm.
probably should be doing this, but my gut feeling is that I should not, then
And
I
can
try
you
not
follow?
to
Can
do
you
it.
you can you follow your gut in that?
I'm pretty good at following it.
Okay.
As I said at the beginning, I'm a black
I'm
and white
not.
person. So when I see the black,
Mhm.
I tend to avoid it. Also with person that I need to be meeting, for example, or with clients that we should be working on. That happened a lot in the past when I was at Frog. We said no to a lot of clients just because we did not thought they were the right client for us, or we
Yeah.
were not the right partners for them. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, especially in my consultancy life, and it's now I'm applying this process also in my
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurial life. the
Mm-hmm.
no's that you say are at least twice more important than the yes that you say. And the no's
Mm-hmm.
are everywhere, also to yourself. Should
For
I be
sure.
having another
Yeah.
glass of wine? Well, maybe not, then not have it.
Understood. Understood. So, Matt, thank you so much. You did so well that you deserve a second spin at the roulette.
Okay, let's go.
Let me share my screen again.
And let's
Okay.
spin it.
Oops. Oh,
Top it where it is.
easy money versus long
Oh,
term.
love this.
You love this.
Yes.
So you love it so much um, that you don't want me to explain it. Let's do that. Go ahead.
Okay. I think this is a good filter. It's a good explanation of the filter we used when we created the first investor roster for Zicklearn. One thing I always tell investors is that money is not your problem. I mean, money is everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it's ready. It's there ready for you. It's just your
Mm-hmm.
capability of finding that money in the right moment with the right person. And that's to me the difference between easy money versus long-term money, which
Mm-hmm.
always win. Again, black versus white. And I think I did it multiple times. You know the background stories. I think I did it multiple times in
Mm-hmm.
our Zicklearn existence. Um, First of all, is the way we look for investors. We're not looking for their money. We're looking for everything but the money. So, for example, first thing is, do we play along well with them? Do I
Mm-hmm.
think they will play along well with the co-founders and with the other investors?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's like a community. You don't want somebody who brings negative energy to your community.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, what's the value they're bringing? It's their network. It's something they know that we don't know. It's their background.
Uh-huh.
It's the push or the vision they can give us, or it's just money. Because at the end of the day, you will be running out of money. So money has a very, very peculiar thing. They
Mm-hmm.
always finish. It's a very finite dimension. So if you're looking just for money for an investor, it's again another time bomb. Going back to the what we said about compromises,
Mm-hmm.
it's an investor who has a date where she or he will stop being useful to you and to your organization and to the
Mm-hmm.
future of your company. That's not an investor you want. That's not the money you want.
I understand. Um, you looked at it from the investor standpoint side. Let's say you look at it, and it's an interesting side to look at this topic. The reason why, and thank you for sharing. The reason why I initially wrote this down is because you know I have been running one company for 11 years, and I only did that. And uh, if you open YouTube today, or LinkedIn or any other extra thing, it really seems that it's possible to do a little bit of money by doing 100 different types of side hustles. And in the end, it's full of videos that say, how to make 3K per month with this, how to take 2K per month with this other thing. And I always thought, um, that specialization and just being extremely good at just one thing, it requires a lot of time, and it pays off a lot, but it can pay off a lot, but that's in the future. And so maybe there are some things that can generate something for you in the very short term, but that's going to fade away as fast as it was fading in. So if you want real value, you really have to trust the process and keep on working and developing and becoming better and better at just one thing, and that requires a lot of time now. And I think about the something that you also like, which is the Japanese sushi masters that make the omelette for 10 years and then they move to rice and then they move to something else. Um, so that's why I brought it in first place.
You're pushing to the converted. I mean, when people ask me what's your superpower, I always say that it's my super focus. Like
Okay.
when I'm very bad at multitasking. I believe everyone is bad at multitasking.
I was about to
It's
ask
a,
you if your superpower is this, what is the most negative power that you don't have?
that I'm very passionate.
Okay. And why is it
And
negative?
the two things collide, right? Because a
Okay.
passionate person sees something and say, "Oh my God, I should be doing it," and then you see something else and you say, "Oh my
Hmm.
God, we should be doing that." Think about
Okay.
designing a product, right? This is always a good lesson. The focus is always a good lesson when you design a
Hmm.
product, especially if it's a digital product. So moving from A to B, it's usually very easy, but it's not necessarily the best way to do it. Again,
Hmm.
with products, the no's you say to a product are much more important than the yes you say to a product. So, for example,
Hmm.
I remember at the beginning of the story of Zicklearn, we basically started implementing the product at the beginning of the curve of the hype for AI.
Hmm.
And I remember Andrea, my co-founder, said, "Yeah, we should be bringing in some generative AI because that's a great way to help our clients." And I said, "Well, maybe yes, or maybe no. It's just that I don't know. I know it's cool, and I would love to jump doing it, but it's probably not the right moment to do that. And if it's not the right moment, then it's also not the right way to do it. I don't believe that packing a product with features
Hmm.
makes the product better. I always
For
believe
sure.
that taking features out and focusing on the real features that matters to your client, and
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
go very deep with these features. That's what you need. We
And
eventually
but
implemented AI, but it's not generative, it's transformative. And
mhm.
our AI transforms every kind of content coming from our clients into a Zicklearn
Mhm.
training. So it
Yeah.
makes something very complex, creating micro learning trainings, very easy. And
But
that's, I
you
believe, something that we needed in the product that we now
mhm.
have.
I understand. But you said you fall in love with lots of different things, but in this case you were the one that was saying no to trying a lot of new things.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying it's a negative thing for me, right? Because I'm very focused.
Hmm.
That's what I'm very good at, but I'm also very passionate. So I have to make an effort for understanding what should I keep about my patients and when I should be saying no. And I tell myself no most of the times.
You reminded me of a friend of mine that was talking to my wife a few years ago, and he asked her, "Okay, it's Ricardo's birthday. What should I buy him? I should buy him a gift, but I don't know what." And she told him, "Buy something that he's passionate about." And then he replied, "But he's passionate about almost everything." So that's exactly true. I tend to fall in love with lots of different things, and I really become passionate about them. So to the point that I want to become an expert of these things. So I think we are somehow similar in this topic. Matt, it was great having you. I feel like you will come back to my casino in the future, and I will let you spin the roulette again. I hope you also had fun. I never say that because I'm not a YouTuber. I don't remember to do these kind of things. But subscribe if you like this type of interviews. So that really helps. And thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks, everybody.
Ciao, ciao. Thank you.